So here we have your first World History assignments, World History Semester 1 assignments. So after that explanation of what to expect from the course, let's look at some of the assignments. So the very first assignment that you will have is the 1.1.3 journal assignment. And every unit does have a journal assignment. The very first journal assignment is a bit different from other journal assignments though. So the first journal assignment is going to be all about you, so it should be pretty easy to do. I really like this assignment because it helps me get to know you a little bit better to start with right away in the course, so that's pretty cool for me. When you do your assignments, you will come into an assignment and you will have the assignment looking like this, where you have it, the 1.1.3 journal right here on history. It gives you the explanations, the instructions. You need to push on the icon. Where's my mouse? Push on the icon right here to get to the assignment. So in this assignment here, it gives you more information. This is the form that you would use the PDF writer like Cami to fill out as you go along. So for this, it gives you the information. There's a couple of parts to it. Step 1 it talks about, step 2, step 3, and then finally the writing prompt. So this is more of a step 4. Also in these assignments, the most important part in my opinion is that all of the assignments give you a rubric, and this rubric for every assignment, the rubric is exactly what I look at to grade your assignment. So if you're wondering why you're losing points, it is because there is something on the rubric that you have not done. So just keep that in mind and make sure you always double check your rubric. So back to my helpful hints here. Okay, so for this very first assignment, these are the parts of the journal submission. Number 1, you need to have a timeline with 10 life events. Back up here, create your timeline. And it tells you start with your birth and go with 10 major life events that have happened. Your timeline can be as simple as a piece like this. You can use Google Draw to create it. You can do with the PDF writer on this. The timeline is the first part of this assignment. Next, list 3 to 4 periods of your life. So back here, identifying periods. Here's where you will list them. Okay, periods would be times of your life. So for instance, maybe your elementary school years is a period you're going to write down, or life before school, those kinds of things. Then, filling out the chart with 2 to 3 themes and a rationale for why they fit, describing themes. Look at the timeline, look at the periods, and make some themes using 2 to 3 and explaining rationale, providing a rationale for them of how they work for your life and how they fit for your life, how they organize your personal history. Finally, 3 paragraphs with a title that describe your life experiences. So all of this stuff from up here, you're just going to put them into paragraph form. The events, the periods, and the themes, putting into paragraph form. When you are writing the essay, make sure you're organizing your paragraphs. You should probably organize them by periods because that's chronologically. You could also organize them by theme, but really chronologically is going to be the easiest for this. And make sure that you follow this checklist here. So that is the first journal. So make sure that you've done all of those parts. The next assignment is World History 1.2.7 practice, and it's about the women's suffrage movement. So let's take a look at that one. In this assignment, there are 3 main parts. Number 1, there are 2 different research charts that you will need to do. Number 2, you will take the information from your research charts and you will put it into a timeline. So again, using that timeline skill that you just practiced with the journal. And then number 3, there are 5 questions that you need to answer based on the research and work that you did. So again, here's how you will see the assignment. This one again is about the women's suffrage movement, and it's the main thing that you're doing is sequencing by creating a timeline. You'll click on that practice icon to bring up the form for the assignment form so that you can fill that out. Okay, so here, just like how I had broken it down, it gives the breakdown of what you do. The research, where you're making your charts, create, where you're making the timeline, and analyze, where you're making the questions. So here are your charts. There's one. There's the second one. Here in these websites and from the coursework is where you'll get information that you can put into the charts. When you're doing your research, make sure that you are not doing any copying and pasting. Make sure that you are writing down in your own words the information. So you will put it into your own words. It helps to just do brief phrases instead of full sentences for research charts. So that was the first part here, the research charts. For the timeline, you will take the 13 events, people, and ideas from your research charts, and you will put them on a timeline. So you will make a timeline. Here's kind of an example timeline. You will put those on there. Make sure that you put all of them out. Make sure that you follow the instructions. Make sure that you have a title for your timeline. Okay. Finally, the analyze part is where you are using your information from your findings to answer these questions. So there are 5 questions that you need to make sure you answer. And then make sure before you turn in the assignment that you have gone through all of these points, that you have done all of these tasks. Here's where the charts are graded, here's where the timeline is graded and everything that you need to put into it, and here are the questions. Make sure that you look at these on the rubric for the questions. For question 1, did you provide a clear argument for why it took so long for the U.S. to give the women the right to vote? So that's the main stuff that you need to do for that assignment. Okay. Again, here's some more instructions with that research chart. Use the websites given to take notes. Fill charts out completely. Make sure you use your own words. Very, 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 very important. Okay. Place all the events on it. Use the instructions to help you draw it out for the timeline. Questions, make sure you're answering the questions. And then, like all your other ones, before you finish the assignment, make sure you check the rubric. I just talked about that. So, I'm repeating myself, but it's really important. Like I said, I grade based on what the rubric says. So, it is what you need to include in your assignment if you want to get all the points for the assignment. Let's talk about the last assignment of the unit. So there's 3 main assignments. So the 1.3.7 practice assignment, write your own historical argument, is about the Berlin Wall and is the final assignment of the unit. So there is information in here. Here, practice is where you click to open up that that assignment that you need. Also within this, I need to move this down a second. You will see that there are several pages here. For some of the sources, you need to click over. This gives you more information. Sorry, I have to move this up. Constructing historical arguments. But you will go to the pages in here. Here is your first source. Here is one of the sources, the primary source, the sign at the entrance to the American sector. So your sources you need to find on this page here where you will go through them. Okay. The next page gives you, here's the Foreign Office report, Eric. The Foreign Office report is right here. Who's that? Hug? Yes, Hug. So that's one of your other ones. Alright, let me move this up. And let's take a look at the assignment. Okay, so 2 main parts to this assignment about the Berlin Wall. The first thing that you need to do is to research each of the sources that are listed. There are primary sources and there are secondary sources, and you need to fill out the chart with your notes about those sources. Then you will be writing a 5-paragraph essay based on these sources that makes and supports a historical claim about the Berlin Wall. So let's take a look here at the assignment. Just what I said, research and write. The first part of the research, here lists your primary sources and the secondary sources. Remember, those primary sources are in the previous pages where you have to click from the assignment when you're back here, and you have to click at the bottom through to those sources. Garrett, you're pulling a measure. Okay. Hug. When you're researching, take a look at these questions to help you out. Here's where you're putting your notes. Make sure that you're putting all of your notes in your own words. So, for each of the 4 primary sources and the 2 secondary sources, you need to fill out the chart with notes about it. Again, this is super duper important. Do not copy word for word anything. Take your notes in your own words. You can use direct quotes, but you should not use very many of them. If you do use a direct quote, make sure you use quotation marks and cite the source of what it is. As you're going through this assignment, you're really looking at answering the 5 questions for each source. Who? Who's the author? Who's the source meant to be, who's it meant for? Who's going to read it or who's going to see it? What? What is the main idea of this source? What is happening in it? What are the details to include? What are the details that it includes about the Berlin Wall? When and where? When was it written? Where was it written? Where is the person from that wrote it? Why? Why is this source helpful with an assignment about the Berlin Wall? Why is this source included for the assignment that you need to do? And then how is this source possibly biased? Is another one to think about. Here, I've kind of give you an example here of the document and type. So for the first primary source, the Sign of the American Sector of West Berlin, that's the document title. This is the document type, primary source. So it's either going to be a primary source or a secondary source. Here are a start to some general notes. You do need to add more. So something that you will see about this sign is written in 4 languages. You can put this into your notes. That's important, that it's written in 4 languages. You should also list which languages it's written in, and you might want to state why you think each one is used. Then you need to add additional notes based on the 5W questions above and anything else that you should add. When you're done with filling out your research chart, then you will do the right part. This is worth 20 points, so this is worth 2/3 of this assignment. The first part is worth 1/3. Examining the evidence you gathered, you need to formulate a claim about the events surrounding the rise and fall of the Berlin Wall and write an essay that presents the claim. Let's go back into mine. Part 2, historical argument essay. You need to write a 5-paragraph essay, which means you use the format intro, body paragraphs, conclusion, and you need to base it on Carrick is helping us. You need to base it on a claim or conclusion you come to about the impact of the Berlin Wall, the impact the Berlin Wall had on people living there, and use historical evidence from research to support it. So here's the formatting. Introduction paragraph. Lead into your topic and be sure you state your claim about the Berlin Wall. You should have about 4 to 5 sentences. Every paragraph should have about 4 to 5 sentences. Body paragraph 1. Actually, for all the body paragraphs. In each of the body paragraphs, provide historical evidence from your research about the impact the Berlin Wall had on people living in divided Berlin. Make sure that it supports the claim that you're making, and make sure you cite information from at least 2 primary sources and 1 secondary source. That is in the rubric. That is something you're graded on. Make sure you do it. Finally, so you've got the 3 body paragraphs, you have a conclusion. Make sure you restate your claim and summarize your main supporting details in 4 to 5 sentences. Before you finish this up, make sure you check over the rubric point by point. Make sure you have everything it includes. And proofread your essay at least one time. You should read through the whole thing in one sitting, one time. So here is the rubric based on the chart.